What if one rookie held the power to change an entire league? Not just elevate it, not just bring in fans, but rip the curtain back, exposing old tensions, hidden resentments, and a system completely unprepared for the spotlight. Caitlin Clark didn't just arrive in the WNBA, she detonated it. Before her, ticket sales crawled, merch moved slowly, games went unnoticed outside a niche audience. Now, entire arenas sell out on rumors she might show up, TV ratings are smashing records, brands are scrambling to attach themselves to her name, and fans, many of whom had never watched a WNBA game before, are tuning in just to catch a glimpse. But here's the part the league doesn't want to talk about. Behind all the applause and camera flashes, not everyone is happy. Some of the veterans are bitter. Tensions are rising behind the scenes. And when Clark suffered a recent injury, everything changed fast. Ticket prices collapsed. The hype stalled. And the league's worst fear suddenly looked real. So who is Caitlin Clark really? Why has she divided the league so sharply? And what does her rise reveal about the WNBA's deepest problems? Because this isn't just a basketball story, this is a battle for control. And Caitlin Clark might be the spark that burns the whole thing down. From the moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto a WNBA court, everything changed. Not gradually, instantly. Ticket prices for her games skyrocketed before she'd even touched the ball. In Washington, D.C., fans were paying over $40 just to see her debut with the Indiana Fever. Weeks later in Chicago, seats that once cost $80 were reselling for triple the price. The common thread? One name on the roster. She doesn't just draw crowds, she transforms them. Entire families show up in custom jerseys. Scalpers swarm online platforms. Social media explodes with clips of her warm-ups. Not the game, the warm-ups. Even when she's benched, fans pack arenas just for the chance she might get a minute of playing time. This isn't normal for a rookie. It's not even normal for a superstar. Caitlin Clark isn't operating on the same scale. She's being compared to LeBron James, Steph Curry, and, in a totally different lane, Taylor Swift. And those comparisons aren't just about skill, they're about impact. She's become what every league dreams of, a cultural lightning rod. The kind of athlete who makes people care about a sport they used to ignore. And it's working. Her rookie season has already shattered WNBA records for TV viewership, merchandise sales, and online engagement. This isn't a marketing campaign, it's a movement. And for the first time in years, the WNBA isn't just being watched, it's being followed. But with that level of attention comes pressure. And not everyone's thrilled about what Caitlin's spotlight is doing to the rest of the league. With every highlight, every sold-out arena, and every viral clip, Caitlin Clark's star rose. But something else was rising too. Resentment. At first it was subtle. A few comments here and there from veteran players. Cryptic tweets about respecting the vets and knowing your place. Posts that didn't name her directly, but didn't need to. The message was loud and clear. Not everyone in the league was on board with Caitlin's rapid rise. Some called it jealousy, others saw it as gatekeeping. But either way, it exposed a long-brewing divide in the WNBA. A league where many veterans have spent years grinding in near anonymity, suddenly watching a 22-year-old rookie become the face of the sport overnight. And this wasn't just locker room talk. You could feel it on the court, in the overly physical defense she faced, in the cold post-game handshakes, in the way some players seemed more focused on humbling her than beating her. It was as if Caitlin Clark had broken an unspoken rule. Don't get too big, too fast. To the public, she was the future. But inside the league, some saw her as a threat, not just to their status, but to the culture they'd built. Because Caitlin didn't come up through the usual WNBA ranks, she arrived with a fan base, a brand, and more attention than most players see in their entire careers. And for veterans who'd spent years fighting for recognition, that spotlight felt personal. Still, none of the tension slowed her down. The fans kept coming, the media kept chasing, and then everything changed with one announcement that would shake the league to its core. The moment Caitlin Clark's injury was announced, the ripple effect wasn't just visible, it was instant. Ticket prices didn't just dip, they collapsed. A game in Washington that had fans paying over $40 dropped to just $3. $3. Less than a cup of gas station coffee. In Chicago, seats that had been going for $86 were suddenly listed for $25. Or lower. Overnight, the buzz evaporated. It was a jarring reminder of just how much the WNBA's momentum was tied to one player. For months, the narrative was that women's basketball was finally getting the respect it deserved, that the league was on the rise because of collective effort, years of hard work, and a growing fan base. But Clark's absence revealed a more uncomfortable truth. Right now, she is the engine. No Clark, no hype, no sold-out arenas, no national buzz. Even players who had downplayed her impact couldn't ignore the numbers. The value of an entire game, the experience, the crowd, the energy, could rise or fall based on whether she was in uniform. That's not normal for any rookie. That's not even normal for most MVPs. For the league, it was a wake-up call. One injury, and everything felt like it was hanging by a thread. But the damage wasn't just economic, it raised deeper questions about the league's identity, its priorities, and whether it was truly ready to embrace the star it had been given. Because what happened next wasn't just about Caitlin, it was about the WNBA's response, and what it revealed about who's really in control. While the league hesitated, the media went all in. Caitlin Clark wasn't just on ESPN, she was ESPN. Every headline, every interview, every segment seemed to circle back to her. Morning talk shows debated her playstyle. Sports podcasts analyzed her every movement. Even entertainment outlets were covering her like a pop star. It wasn't just coverage, it was obsession. And yet, the WNBA itself seemed strangely detached from the phenomenon happening in plain sight. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert made broad, PR-friendly statements about the league's growth and momentum. She credited the rise in viewership to years of investment and collective talent. But the public wasn't buying it. Because let's be honest, people weren't suddenly tuning in for the collective. They were tuning in for Caitlin. Clark was trending weekly, selling out arenas in minutes, driving up merchandise sales, drawing in brand deals, corporate sponsors, and celebrities who hadn't attended a WNBA game in their lives. This wasn't the result of slow, steady development. This was a flashpoint, and it had a name. Still, the league tiptoed around it. They tried to frame her rise as part of a bigger story. But by avoiding the obvious, they started to look out of touch, like they were trying to share credit for a party they hadn't planned. And fans noticed, so did media personalities. Analysts called it out on national television. The WNBA's pretending like Caitlin Clark isn't the reason they're finally in the spotlight. And it's laughable. The league had a choice. Lean into the wave and ride it, or act like it didn't exist and risk falling behind. So far, they were choosing caution, and it was costing them. But while the boardrooms were stalling, Caitlin was doing what she always does, letting her game speak louder than the headlines. If the hype was just about marketing, it would have faded by now. But Caitlin Clark isn't some manufactured media product. She's legit. And anyone who's actually watched her play knows why the hype never stops. Her range is absurd. We're not talking NBA three-point line, we're talking logo threes with a defender in her face. Shots that make the crowd gasp, even when they don't go in. The confidence is wild, but the accuracy is scarier. She doesn't just take risky shots, she owns them. Then there's the passing. Not just flashy, but surgical. One-handed dimes, no-look assists, bounce passes through traffic that leave defenders frozen. Her court vision is years ahead of most rookies. Actually, it's ahead of most pros. And the creativity? Off the charts. She's not just running plays, she's rewriting them. One minute she's pulling up from 30 feet, the next she's threading a needle on a fast break. Watching her play feels less like basketball and more like art. Unpredictable, fluid, alive. That's why fans show up in droves. That's why little kids wear her jersey before she's even finished her rookie season. And that's why the cameras follow her from the moment she steps into the building. Because Caitlin doesn't play like she's adjusting to the league. She plays like she's challenging it to keep up. But even with all that talent, there's still one problem the league hasn't figured out, and it's bigger than basketball. Caitlin Clark isn't just the WNBA's rising star, she's the golden goose. The one player pulling in millions of eyes, dollars, and headlines, and that's exactly why the league doesn't know what to do with her. On the one hand, she's a dream scenario. Young, marketable, ridiculously talented. She's worth an estimated $50 million in influence, and she's just getting started. Brands are lining up, jersey sales are off the charts, corporate sponsors are suddenly calling the WNBA a priority. That didn't happen before Caitlin, but on the other hand, that kind of power makes things complicated, because the league knows it needs her. The attendance numbers prove it, the ratings prove it, even the price drops after her injury prove it. She's the sun, and right now, everything else is orbiting around her. So how do you manage that without creating a full-blown backlash? Veteran players already feel overlooked. Fans of the old WNBA think she's getting special treatment, and league officials are stuck between two realities: honor the vets, or build around the one player who's actually making the league mainstream. It's a tightrope walk. If they lean too hard into Clark, they risk alienating the foundation. If they don't, they might waste the biggest opportunity they've ever had. Worse still, Clark isn't even making real money from the league. Her rookie salary? Just over $76,000? That's less than what some of her peers make in overseas leagues. And while NIL deals and endorsements keep her financially afloat, the league itself has yet to match her value with real compensation. So here's the dilemma. The WNBA desperately needs her, but it also doesn't seem ready for her. She's too big, too fast, too different from the system they've built. And the longer they hesitate, the more obvious it becomes that Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's the WNBA's test. A test of whether they'll embrace change or get buried by it. And just when that pressure hit its peak, something unexpected happened. Caitlin disappeared, and what followed showed just how fragile this new era really is. When Caitlin Clark went down, everything slowed. The cameras still rolled, the games still played, but something felt off, like the spark had dimmed. The buzz wasn't the same. The seats weren't as full. The headlines shifted away. And in that brief silence, the league's biggest secret was exposed.